Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kingsley, and in today's video we'll be diving into the basics of JavaScript, focusing on variables, data types, and operators. Before we get started, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a powerful and popular programming language used for creating dynamic and interactive web applications. It's one of the core technologies of web, along with HTML and CSS. Now let's talk about what variables are. In JavaScript, variables are containers for storing data values. You can declare variables using val, length, and const. Now let's head over to the VS Code. I am using Visual Studio Code for this tutorial. However, you can use any text editor of your choice. Open your VS Code. Now I have created a file called script.js file. So we'll be using this script.js file to run the rest of our code throughout this course. Now, to declare a variable in JavaScript, you use the let keyword or the const keyword or the val keyword. Now, each of these keywords has their individual use cases. Now, let's look at how to declare a variable using the let keyword. I'll call this variable my name, and I will assign it a value of Kingsley. This is how you create a variable using the let keyword. Now let's create another variable using the const keyword. I will call this my constant, and I will assign it a value of 3.142. Now our variable const my constant is expected to hold a constant value of 3.142, which means this value cannot be reassigned another value throughout our program. Let's also create another variable using the val keyword. We can call this age and assign it a value of 22. Now let's try to run this code. In JavaScript, to run a JavaScript code, you use the node, then the file name. In our case, is script.js for us. Now we'll console.log my name, my constant, and age. Now let's try to run this program again. Now we see that these values are being console logged. Now to explain further the reassignment of these variables. Now for my name variable, we can decide to reassign this variable with the value of John. And if we run this code again, we will notice that Kingsley has been replaced with John. If we try this on the val variable that we've declared, to reassign this 22 with a value of 24, and we run this program again, you will notice that this value have been reassigned a value. This variable have been reassigned a value of 24. Now let's try to do this with my const. Let me reassign my const a value of 4, and then let's run this program. Now we have an error message pointing us to the reassignment, the assignment operator, that we cannot reassign 4 to this variable, and this is because it's a constant. Now let's remove this line of code. So when do you use let or var or const? Now let is used for variable that can change within your program, and const is used for constant, which are variables that won't change value. Now val is an older way to declare variables and is generally not recommended for modern JavaScript due to its function scope. So it's advised or is recommended that you do not use var keyword in declaring a variable. Now that we understand what variables are and how they can be used in our JavaScript code, let's talk about data types. JavaScript has several data types that can be divided into two major categories: the primitive and the non-primitive types. Now, the primitive data types are data types that hold single values and are immutable, meaning their values cannot be changed once they are created. And they are as follows: the string, which holds a sequence of characters or letters; the number, which holds numeric values. We have the boolean. The boolean holds only true or false values. We have the undefined, holding variable that has not been declared or has not been assigned a value in our code. Then we have the null. The null is used to assign values that represent no value. The second category of data types are the non-primitive data types. So non-primitive data types, also known as reference types, can hold multiple values and are mutable, which means we can change their values at any time in our code. And these include objects, which represent a collection of properties and values. Each property is a key value pair, where the key is a string and the value can be any data type. Now we have the array, a special type of object used to store ordered collection of values. Arrays can hold values of different types and are accessed by their index. The third type of non-primitive data type is functions. Also, an object. A function is a reusable block of code designed to perform a specific task. Now let's head over to our VS Code to discuss, or rather to demonstrate, how these data types are being used in JavaScript. Talking about data types in JavaScript. Like we mentioned earlier, we have two categories. Here we'll be talking about the primitive data types and the non-primitive data types. Now, let's start with the primitive data types. Under the primitive data types, we have what we call string. This string, let product equal to maybe PC. Now in JavaScript, string values, this is a string data type, because in JavaScript string values is denoted using single quotes or double quotes. The second data type we have is number. Let price equal to 56. This is a number data type. Then we have the Boolean data type. For instance, const is available equals to true. Is a Boolean data type. Boolean data types only holds true or false values. Then we have let discount equal to null, which is an example of the non-data type. Then we have let color equal to undefined. As an example of undefined data type. So for non-primitive data types, we have objects, and this is the syntax for declaring an object in JavaScript. Let person equal to a curly brace, then you include the key value pair. We use name with a value of John, and then a comma, and then another property of age with a value of 18, then comma, and then another property, a Boolean property of is student, and then we assign it a value of true. So what we have just done is to declare an object with the name of a person, and then we have assigned it various properties with their different values. Now let's look at the second type of non-primitive data type, which is array. Here is the syntax for declaring an array in JavaScript. For instance, let colors equal to, then a square bracket, then the values red, green, and maybe blue. Array is used to store more than one value. It's this item can go as long as any length. The third type of non-primitive data type is the function. To declare a function in JavaScript, you can use the keyword function and then the name of the function and then a bracket and then a curly brace. Then you define what you want your function to do. Here, this function will just console log hello world. Now in JavaScript, whenever you define a function, you must call it for it to execute the task you have assigned it to execute. To call it, we put the name of the function and a bracket. Now when we run this code, by typing node script.js, this function will print hello world. Now that we understand what variables are in JavaScript, and we've also looked at data types and how they are being used, now let's talk about operators. What are operators in JavaScript? So operators are symbols that perform operations on various variables and their values. They can be classified into different types. We'll talk about the arithmetic operators, the assignment operators, the comparison operators, the logic operators. Now let's head over to our VS Code to discuss about these 4 different types of operators and demonstrate how they can be used in our code and its relevance. Now let's look at how we can add 2 numbers in JavaScript. Let's look at to add 2 numbers, we define a variable. We could call it sum equal to 10 plus 5, which this should give us 15. And to subtract, we are using the plus operator. To use the minus or the subtraction operator, we do let difference equal to 10 minus 5, which should give us 5. We can also do multiplication. Let times equal to 10 times 5, which should give us an output of 50. And then we can do division by saying let's call this variable quotient equal to 10 divided by 5, which should give us 2. Now, if we want to get a remainder of a particular arithmetic operation, we use the modulus sign. Let's call this variable remainder, and assuming we do 10 divided by 3, we should get 1 as the remainder. How we can get this value in JavaScript is using the modulus operator, which is the same as the percentage symbol. So if we do 10 modulus 3, it will give us an output of 1. This is how we can use arithmetic operators in JavaScript. The next to talk about is the assignment operators. We use the assignment operators to assign values to variables. For instance, let s equal to 10. Here we are using the equal to sign to assign a value to 10, to x, which is the value of 10. We can also use the plus equal sign in this manner to say s plus equal to 5. So this we add whatever is the value of x, it will increment it by 5. In our case here, the value of s is 10. So we are incrementing 10 by 5, which will give us an output of 15. And this is how you can use assignment operators in JavaScript. Now let's talk about how you can use comparison operators in JavaScript. Now we use comparison operators to compare two values to know if they are true or false. For instance, if I do console.log (10) equal to 10. Here we are using two equal sign to compare if 10 is equal to 10, which this should output true. If I run this code, let's see. Node script.js. Now our program is telling us that 10 is equal to 10. If we do the same for the not equal to sign, we use the not, this is not equal to sign, 10 not equal to 10. This definitely will give us a value of false, because 10 is equal to 10 and 10 not equal to 10 is false. Now we have what we call the strict equal to comparison operator. Now if you use this console.log, if we do console.log 10 equal to 10, this will give us, or let's try it and see, node scripts .js. Now this will output false. Why? Because in the first example, JavaScript is only comparing the value 10 as a number is equal to 10 as a number. So this is true. But here, when you do 10 with a strict equal to comparison operator, it will compare both the number, the data type, and the value. So here 10 is a number, and the second 10 that is comparing with is a string. So 10 as a number is not equal to 10 as a string. Hence, we had the output of false. Now we can do the same to see other comparison operators we have in JavaScript. We can use 10 not equal to, strict not equal to the string of 10. This should return true because 10 is not equal to the strict value of 10. The next operator, comparison operator we talk about, is the greater sign operator. The greater operator, we'll do console.log 10 greater than 5. Obviously 10 is greater than 5, so this will return true. And then we have the less than comparison operator. I will say 10 less than 5. 10 is not less than 5, so this will return false. So this is how we check if two numbers will return a true or false value. Now let's move on to the logical operators. Logical operators. We use the logical operators to confirm that two logic are true or false. For instance, console.log ten equal to 10, and we have the AND logical operator used to make sure that two statements are true. So if you have two statements or more than one statement, we want to make sure that both statements or all the statements are true for it to return true. So in this expression, On our left hand, we see 10 equal to 10, which seems to be true, which is true, and 10 equal to 10 using the strict operator will return false. So whenever we are using the AND logical operator, if one statement is false, then the whole statement is false. But if all statements are true, then it will return true. So if we run this, let me comment out these other ones. Now, if we run this script, this will return false. Why? Because the statement on the right hand side is false. Even though the statement on the left hand side is true, this will return false because one of its statement is false. Now let's use the OR operator, OR logical operator. If we run the same code, 10, 10. So here, this will return, let's comment out this, and then try to run this again. Now this will return true because in all logical operator, once one statement is true, every other thing becomes true. Every other statement becomes true. That is why this output is true. Because this statement here is true and this is false. So we are saying if the first statement is true or the second statement is true, return true. Now the last logical operator we have is the not true operator. If you do console.log and then we say not true, so this value would return false because anything that is not true is false and anything that is not false is true. So this is how operators work in JavaScript. Today, we've covered the basics of JavaScript variables, data types, and operators. We learned how to declare variables, the different types of data in JavaScript, and how to use various operators. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know what topic you want to see in the next video. Thank you. Bye.